Welcome. Today I am discussing on the concept of World Trade Organization, also known as WTO. WTO is an organization which deals with the rules pertaining to the international trade. Before WTO, there was an agreement called GATT to promote international trade. GATT is an agreement between countries regarding bilateral trade. At the time of 1947, it means after the Second World War, some powerful countries like UK, US are needed to establish GATT to promote international trade. Only 23 countries are became founder member for GATT. On 9th of July 1948, the GATT is established on provisional basis. At the time of establishment, GATT includes 60 agreements and understandings regarding international trade. Dispute settlement body was established to overcome from international trade disputes. But also GATT criticized as rich men's club because it's working biased on developed countries. At the time of establishment, GATT listed some objectives for its functioning. Those are to raise the standard of living of its member country and ensure the full employment throughout the world and optimal use of scarce resources of the world with expand production and international trade. In 1986, at the time of Uruguay rounds of negotiation, all members of GATT and other countries are demanding for one organization to control all aspects regarding international trade. After a long discussion, WTO started its function from January 1st, 1995 with 104 founder members. Please remember, India also a founder member for WTO and also for GATT. WTO is a rule based organization with the motto of free trade and fair trade throughout the world. Presently, it has 164 members. You can say WTO is a updated version of GATT. Therefore, all objective of GATT kept same with slight changes. And also one additional objective included to protect the nature and environment. WTO's main function is implementation of its agreements and understandings regarding international trade. It need to create a platform for negotiations by its member countries, and it also administrate and solve the disputes regarding international trade or global trade. On the basis of negotiation and regular changes in the business environment, WTO need to review the policy of international trade. WTO also provide technical assistance to developing countries regarding development of international trade. After understanding the GATT and the WTO concepts, now we need to understand the differences between GATT and WTO. See, first of all, GATT is not an organization where WTO is a organization, and GATT is an agreement. WTO is a organization which includes a lot of agreement regarding international trade, and GATT is a provisional basis establishment, or it is established on provisional basis, but WTO is a permanent organization to look after international trade. The GATT agreements have a conflicts with the local laws, but WTO doesn't have those conflicts regarding applications or adoption. GATT is less authoritative and it has less authority or a restricted authority to control international trade. But WTO is more authoritative and it is a powerful organization to control overall transactions of international trade. As we know, India is a founder member for WTO. Now, India is anticipating a flexible policy regarding protection of food and livelihood. Also, India anticipating anti-dumping policies, a strict anti-dumping policies to prohibit dumping which is harmful for Indian domestic players or producers. India also demanding for a good support in international market regarding its agricultural products and service sector. To draw the benefits from the India should take leadership for developing and underdeveloped countries. In every negotiation meeting, India should participate effectively and not as a just listener. In the present world, service sector is in boom. So, India need to acquire more profit by participation in trade in services. Normally, one question will arise. What are the benefits for India by the WTO? When India become member for GATT and WTO, the members of that GATT and WTO start to trade with Indians or Indian businesses. So that time normally export is increased and the cash flow is also increased. There is a good demand for agricultural product by the WTO members. WTO also supports for FDI, it means foreign direct investments. By its supports, capital flow is increased for India. Now, Indian producers are producing international quality goods and services to reach the international market standards. There is a regular demand for Indian textile and clothing industry products. Because of that, the Indian textile industries are getting benefits. WTO restricts the dumping, which leads to development of domestic players and manufacturers. WTO promote research by issuing patents for new invention. There are many more benefits for India by the WTO, like increase in the employment and increase in the standard of living, increase in the standard of education or quality of education, increase in the health services, it means quality of health services, and so on. Nowadays, India is really getting more benefits from the WTO, and also many more intellectual properties are acquired by the WTO policies only. Yes, there are some negative impact also on the Indian economy by the WTO. First of all, agricultural sector is suffering from the reduction in the subsidy. It means WTO is demanding for reduce the subsidy which is allowed for the agriculturist, and it asks to import food grains from the its member country to India, which affect on the production of Indian farmers, or it will leads to reduction in the price of the food or any agricultural product in India. Some Indian domestic industries lost its identity because of competition by MNC companies. Some developed countries acquired patents on Indian herbs. It means, for example, turmeric is an Indian herb which is used from very ancient time. Now, some countries are trying to acquire the patents on that. Let's discuss what are the development in Indian economy by the WTO. There is a reduction in tariff and non-tariff barriers regarding international trade. And also there is a continuous amendment in the Patent Act to reach the international standard. And copyright, trademark, and industrial design are creating an identity for Indian producers. Product which has geographical indications are attracting the international customers, which leads to increase in the export.